present in the virtual courtroom, we have the mother, Hope Marshall. We have her attorney, Ms. Lowry, who is appearing today for Mr. Taburin. We have father, Mr. Wood, and his attorney, Ms. Mobilia. We have the children's attorney, Ms. Dubas, and we've been trying to get Mr. Verstraete in the courtroom from the county jail. However, there's some delay, and we've determined to go ahead and let him join when they finally are able to connect him. So, Ms. Dubas.
Thank you. I do have a few exhibits to start with. The first one, Exhibit 1, would be the case service plan with attached parent agency treatment plan with a report date of 2/27/25. The second exhibit would be a packet of forensic fluid drug screens for Mr. Verstraete. Exhibit 3 is a Burgess Psychological Service report for Mr. Verstraete. Exhibit 4 would be a packet of forensic fluid drug screens for Hope Marshall. Exhibit 5 is KRP reports for Hope Marshall.
Mr. Wood, I'm going to mute you because there's an echo. Go ahead, Ms. Lowry.
And number 6 would be the Bethany Christian Services progress reports with the children's play therapy notes.
Any objection?
No objection.
No, Your Honor.
All right, they're all admitted.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to call Leticia Diaz. Thank you. Ms. Diaz, can you give us an update regarding Ms. Marshall's progress during this report period?
Yes, Ms. Marshall continues to do really well. She has rectified all of the barriers that brought the children into care initially. She continues to do really well. Excuse me. She continues to consistently drug screen at least twice a week here at the agency, and those results are all negative. She only tests positive for THC in a prescribed medication for opioid usage, which she is required to be taking that medication. And she also has a medical card for marijuana. She continues to attend counseling, and she is reported to be engaged. And to understand that emotional instability and her PTSD is something that she will always have to address for the rest of her life. She knows that the mental health setting provides her with a lot of support, especially with all the transition that we're having lately. She started engaging with KRP services back in December 2024. And then the kids were placed in the home with her on January 10th of 2025. And the transition has been going really well, and things are going really well.
Okay, and I know she's testing positive for THC and has a medical card. Has it been discussed with her regarding the use of marijuana when the children are in her care?
Yes, and we have a safety plan for THC and for her medication as well. She understands that both have to be safely stored away in a lockbox. And we don't have any concerns at this time. She is able to comply with the safety plan, and she has been very willing to comply with the agency's expectation for storing those medications in the home safely so the children don't have access to it.
Okay, and you've had a chance to view the home as well, correct?
Yes, and the home is appropriate. The kids share a bedroom, and it's very appropriate. It's sanitary, it's organized, it's clean, and it's very appropriate.
Okay, and does Ms. Marshall have employment at this time?
Yes.
Okay, and where is she working?
She's still working in the same place. She has been able to maintain employment throughout the reporting period. In the past ones, she continues to work in the hotel.
Okay, and she's able to juggle the employment and manage the needs of the children effectively, correct?
Yes, and her needs as well. She has been a huge and great advocate for the children and for their needs. They're also attending play therapy at Bethany, and that is going really well. And Ms. Marshall also advocated for CMV to receive his own counseling after play therapy because he was struggling a little bit in school and in the home. So she is able to meet her needs, the children's needs, and advocate for them as well.
Right, and excuse me, I'm just going to note for the record that Mr. Verstraete has joined us.
Okay, and so fair to say that Ms. Marshall, she's doing very well, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and are there any additional services you feel she needs at this time that she has not been referred to or that she's not involved in?
No, not at this time. She successfully completed psychological evaluation, substance use assessment. She successfully completed the foster care supportive visitation. She's engaging in counseling for herself, and she's also engaging in play therapy with the kids. So at this time, the agency just would like Ms. Marshall to successfully complete KRP services as well.
Great. And can you give us an update on Mr. Wood?
Yes, he continues to be incarcerated at the King Ross Correctional Facility. I had a phone call with him a few weeks ago. He reported that he's doing well. He's engaging in the things that they have available. He hasn't met with the parole board yet, so it's a no exactly when he's going to be released. I know his earliest release day is set for April, but when I talked to Mr. Wood, he said that he was unsure if that was going to happen in April. So it's unknown at this point when he's going to be released from jail.
Okay. And is he able to have any communication with his child?
Yes, they have phone calls. And those phone calls are facilitated by his mother because there is a no contact order between Mr. Wood and Ms. Marshall due to concerns of domestic violence.
Okay. And those phone calls appear to go okay?
Yes, they go okay. And whenever Mr. Wood can, he sends cards and pictures to his son. So he's trying to stay engaged as much as he can due to their circumstances.
Okay. And I know it's difficult with services with him being incarcerated, but are there any classes or anything that he's involved in at this time?
Yes, he was attending the substance use program. I am unsure if he's already graduated that service, but I know it's an expectation that he needs to graduate that service before he is released from incarceration.
Okay. And are you able to send him packets or worksheets or anything to complete?
Yes, and he's able to return those packets as well.
Okay. And is there anything additional that you want him to be doing that he is able to do while he's incarcerated?
Not at this time.
Okay. And then can you give us an update on Mr. Verstraat, please?
Yes, Mr. Verstraat, he was doing really well before January. He was engaged with the agency, he was sober, he was consistent with parenting time. However, in January, things changed a little bit. Mr. Verstraat had a few positives for methamphetamine and amphetamine in December, and then in January, and then in February, he stopped screening with the agency. Back in January, he also stopped having consistent and high quality visits with his son. And those concerns were addressed with him in January. And he seemed very motivated back in January to turn things around, get back on track with parenting time, sobriety, and all the things that he was doing before because he was doing really well before January of this year. But then in February, around February 7, the last screen that he was able to complete was on February 7, and it was negative. But then after that, he stopped engaging with the agency, he stopped answering, and then he also stopped showing up for his screens. Finally, when I was about to do an unannounced home visit to verify his well-being because he was not answering me, I found out that, excuse me, I found out that he had been incarcerated at the King County Jail. So he was booked on February 25th.
Okay. And are there any services that he's able to participate in at this point in time?
Not that I'm aware at this time. I know that King County Jail, they changed some of their policies recently, so I have not been able to meet with him personally. But I'm trying to schedule a video call or a phone call with him so we can try to assess and see what he has available there. But at this time, it sounds like he is waiting for pretrial.
Okay. And then once you are able to get in contact with him at the jail, will you meet with him regularly?
Yes, and he has already been provided with a packet for February. He'll be provided with another packet this month, and we'll continue to do that.
Okay. And can you give us an update regarding the children?
Yes, I'm going to start with KW. He is doing really well. He is adjusting really well to be in the home with Miss Marshall. I feel like both boys were looking forward for this moment. I feel like they were very ready for reunification because they have been in care for over 2 years now. So they were really struggling with just having parenting times with Miss Marshall and not being able to be in the home. So he is doing really well. He's adjusting really well. He has a bright personality. He's a great little boy. And he is doing really well. He's doing play therapy with Miss Marshall and CMV, and he's reported to be engaged as much as he can be because of his age, but he's doing really well. CMV, overall, he is doing really well. He's adjusting well to the transition. He was also looking forward very much to be in the home with Miss Marshall. We don't have any concerns in the area. However, he is struggling a little bit with the whole situation with Mr. Verstraat. They were really working on their bond and they were really creating a very strong relationship. And CMV was very much looking forward to have Mr. Verstraat present in his life because that's something that he didn't have in the past. So he was very excited about spending time with his dad and getting to know his dad. And when that kind of stopped and Mr. Verstraat kind of became inconsistent with parenting time, that really impacted CMV's mental health and behavior in the home. So he was a little bit more angry. He was a little bit more upset. But I will say that Ms. Martian has done a phenomenal job at being able to support CMV and provide him with everything that he needs to overcome this barrier. And the agency does believe that he will be able to get there. He's really young, and hopefully with play therapy in place and now individual counseling that Ms. Marshall advocated for him to get, he'll get the support that he needs to process Mr. Verstraat's being absent now due to his incarceration. But Other than that, both kids are doing really well. They're thriving with Miss Marshall. They're up to date with medical, dental, vaccines, and they continue to have a relationship with relatives because they were placed in a relative home prior to being placed with Miss Marshall. So they continue to have those relationships, and they're just doing really well.
Okay. And they currently are still attending the same school that they were with the relative placement, correct?
Yes, that was the plan. However, there has been an incident at school, which was not CMV's fault. It was a peer that gave him a vape. And he was actually really brave for his age because he went to an adult and he reported and he gave the adult the vape. And Miss Marshall was able to address this with him. Miss Marshall was on top of the situation with the school. She did a phenomenal job at following up with the school and ensuring that, her child's safe at school. So because of this incident, Miss Marshall initially wanted to wait until the end of the school year to move the kids so they wouldn't have to struggle with another transition with school. But because of this incident with the vape, Ms. Marshall thinks that it's in the best interest of the children to just move schools already since they're already in the home with her, and the agency is very supportive of this. So Ms. Marshall's in the process of moving the kids to a school that's closer to her home, and hopefully after spring break, they will be able to start a new school.
Okay. And the current school is quite a bit of distance from Miss Marshall's home too, isn't it?
It is. It's a 30-minute drive, I'll say, back and forth. And she is doing all the transportation. She's taking the kids to school. She's bringing the kids back home. So it's just not really doable long term.
Okay. So overall, they're doing well then, correct?
They're thriving, yes.
Okay. And what are your recommendations at this time?
So at this time, it is respectfully recommended that CMV and KW remain temporary court wards. CMV and KW be placed in the care of a relative, licensed foster home, or Ms. Marshall's home. The goal remain reunification. All parties participate in and benefit from the parent agency treatment plan. The parenting times of Mr. Verstraet is supervised upon his release, and the parenting times of Mr. Wood also be supervised upon his release. Ms. Marshall and Mr. Wood continue to refrain from contact with one another due to concerns of domestic violence. Ms. Marshall continue to work with KRP until completion. This matter be reviewed as required, and the agency would like to be able to file a JC-36 once Ms. Marshall is done working with KRP and it's a successful discharge. And as well, there is a parenting time order in place for both fathers. So they can have parenting time with their son upon their release.
Okay. And Miss Marshall is working on getting those parenting time orders in place, correct?
Yes, there's been a little bit of a confusion because foster care doesn't really do that, so I'm not very familiar with the process. We met with her attorney, and then we were informed that we will have to kind of get the child support order started in order to do the parenting time order. But it sounds like there is already one for Mr. Verstraet in Ionia County. So Ms. Marshall is working on that, and KRP is helping Ms. Marshall with that because they have more experience. They're more familiar with the process.
Okay. And is there a projected time frame when KRP is scheduled to be finished up?
Yes, I spoke with KRP a few days ago, and they said that whenever the agency feels like, and Ms. Marshall feels like she's ready, they can discharge her. They don't have any significant recommendations for her at this time because things are going really well. So as of now, KRP is more of like an additional support.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
All right. I am going to ask, Stephen, how do you pronounce your last name? We've all been pronouncing it different ways. Uh-oh.
Verstrat.
Verstrat. Okay. Thank you. My apologies.
Oh, you're fine.
All right. Ms. Lowry.
Thank you. Just a couple questions after that. Great report from Ms. Marshall. So just to touch on the I guess the parenting time orders, is that what you're looking for?
Yes.
Okay. So it sounds like there's a case at least started through Ionia County. And Ms. Marshall is kind of trying to navigate this in that county. So that one might be easier if there's at least a case started. But for the other case with Mr. Wood, is there any support or that you're aware of any
Not
any
that I am aware. I know that KRP is helping Miss Marshall with that, so I believe they went there together and they were informed that they will have to start the child support order for Mr. Wood in order to get the parenting time order in place. So then we can request for case closure with foster care. But like I said, this has been a learning experience for all of us because we're not very familiar with that. So if court has any guidance on this, we'll appreciate it.
Okay. All right. So it's not a matter of custody or it's more just looking for parenting time orders?
Yes, and I believe that also like both fathers, Mr. Wood and Mr. Vershred, they will have to be in agreement with the order. That's my understanding, but I am not sure.
Okay. All right. And if she completes KRP but is still working through getting parenting time orders, I mean, essentially, Mr. Wood and Mr. Verstraete can request their own parenting time orders once they're released from incarceration, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So would the agency support filing a JC 36 upon completion of KRP or for Miss Marshall?
Yes, upon completion from with KRP, we will support being able to file the JC 36.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. No other questions.
All right, thank you. Ms. Mobilia.
Thank you, Your Honor. With regard to Mr. Wood, when he returns the packets, are they appropriate?
Yes, they are appropriate, and we can tell that he is putting in the effort to work on the things that he needs to work. And when I speak with him on the phone, he always mentions that the packets have been very helpful.
Okay. And with regard to Mr. Verstraete, is he having contact with his children via telephone?
No, we have not been able to set those up yet.
Okay, is that something that you'll work on?
Yes.
Okay. And Ms. Marshall, would she be amenable to that occurring in her home?
I will have to discuss this with her if she will be willing to facilitate the phone calls. And if she's not, the agency will obviously figure something out. I just don't want to put Ms. Marshall in a position that she's not comfortable at this time.
Okay. And does he have relatives that could assist with him, just like Mr. Wood does?
No, the plan was to have Mr. Verstraet's mom to build a relationship with CMV, but I don't believe they got to that stage because that's when he started not being really consistent with the visits. So no, not at this time.
And he's facing new charges, correct?
That's my understanding.
Okay. And when you provide packets, are they returned?
They have not been returned yet, but like I said, Kane County Jail, they did change their policy. So I need to reach out to them and figure it out the best way to facilitate a way for Mr. Verstraete to return his packets.
Okay. And then you need to set up a video call. They have a new process, right? Where you have to send an email and set up video calls for him, correct?
Yeah, yes, that's right.
Okay. And I think the court can probably, I don't know, Your Honor, have you heard of ancillary services that are available through the
Yes.
foster care?
Yes.
So maybe the court can explain it so that Ms. Marshall can take advantage of that. I have nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Lowry.
No follow-up, Your Honor.
Okay. And Ms. Dubus.
I have nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Ms. Dubus, any additional evidence or witnesses?
No.
All right. Ms. Lowry, any witnesses or evidence?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Mobilia, any witnesses or evidence?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right. Statements. Ms. Dubus.
Yes, Your Honor, I think the recommendations are appropriate. Ms. Marshall, she's made significant progress. She's doing very well, not only meeting her own needs, but meeting the needs of the children. They seem to be thriving after being placed back with her. The fathers, it sounds like they're doing what they can do. Obviously, their options are limited due to their incarceration, but overall things seem to be going very well. I did have the opportunity to meet with Hope and the boys. It was about a week and a half ago or so when we had the nice weather. They were at the park and enjoying the weather and excited to be outside. They told me it had been cold for a year now, so they were happy to be able to enjoy the playground. But I couldn't agree with them more. It does feel that way. But they said that school's going well. They like it. They're very happy to be back with mom. They were enjoying it, said everything is going well, and they just appeared to be two happy, healthy little boys. So I'm really glad the transition is going so well. We did talk about them going to a new school, and they didn't seem to really have too much hesitation with that. So I hope that transition will go well for them, but I would just ask that the court adopt the recommendations.
All right, thank you. Ms. Lowry.
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, it's very clear that Ms. Marshall has worked very hard over several years, and I know I'm coming in here today and we talked, and she's done a lot of hard work, and it sounds like the boys and herself are thriving and doing well, which is what we hope for. So it sounds like KRP is pretty close to closing, and I guess I don't think it makes sense to put the burden on Ms. Marshall to get parenting time orders for the fathers. So, if the concern was custody, I could see something differently, but it does sound like she's hopefully going to try and go out to Ionia and see exactly what's in place there. But I do think it would be great if she could have an ancillary attorney appointed to address any issues in Kent County. I don't know if there's nothing in place. My assumption would be that there was an affidavit of parentage, which would give her presumptive custody. So I'm not sure if that's necessary at this point, but I think if the agency is able to file a JC 36 upon her completion of KRP and, verification of where custody orders are at, I would ask that the court consider that.
All right, thank you. Ms. Mobilia.
Yes, Your Honor. I have no objection to the recommendations. I think Mr. Wood is doing everything he can based on his circumstances. I hope he gets out soon. Mr. Verstraete had been doing really well, as Ms. Diaz indicated. Unfortunately, he had a relapse, and I guess he can follow through and complete the packets. I know that there is a Friends of the Court case in Ionia for Mr. Verstraete and for Mr. Wood. There's only an AOP, so I don't know the court's position on whether or not to discharge before there's a J36, but I would have no objection.
All right, thank you. The court finds that the lawyer guardian ad litem has complied with the requirements of the statute. And will order that these two children remain home with the mother under the supervision of the department. That she is to comply with and cooperate with the department. Pending the completion of KRP. Once KRP is completed, the court expects to see a J36 be presented for my signature. As far as the issue of ancillary services, those are really, that program is really for cases where custody is not clear and we need a valid custody order with the person with whom the child is being placed or children are being placed. We don't have that issue in this case. Mother does have custody under the law of the state of Michigan. And I'm not saying that fathers don't deserve parenting time. They absolutely should do. There is the legal services, at least in Kent County. There is the legal assistance center that can assist with filing a motion for custody if it's a Kent County case. I'm not sure what Ionia has, but I know there's Michigan Legal Help, which is online, that leads you through that motion regarding parenting time. I applaud Ms. Marshall for her efforts, and certainly if she wants to and can get that stuff, those things in place for the fathers, that's great. I think that's in the best interest of the children, but that's going to be up to her. Otherwise, I do think it's the father's burdens at this point regarding parenting time in order to get those orders in place. And it certainly should not keep this case from being closed. The kids are safe. They're with with a parent who has legal custody at this point. The adjudicated parents comply with and benefit from the case service plan. That parenting time of both fathers is at the discretion of the agency. I'll continue the attorneys. We will go ahead and set up another review hearing just to make sure that this case stays on track. And obviously that will be canceled if in fact this case is discharged due to completion of KRP. Ms. Gibson, do you have a date?
Yes, June 12th at 10 a.m.
Any conflicts with that date or time?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Marshall, I have not been involved in this case. This was transferred to me, and so this is my first hearing with all of you. But I just want to say I have reviewed the records. I know this has been a long, arduous journey for you, but you've done the work, and very proud of you. And this is the outcome we all want to see. This is great. So very, very happy for you, happy for your children, even more so. And just keep up the good work. You know who to reach out to for help. And I'm sure that you will do that in the future should you find yourself in a position of needing that support. All right. Is there anything further? In A, present in the virtual courtroom, we have Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Laura Clifton, Mother Erica Desire, her attorney Cynthia Rathburn, Patrick Young, legal father, his attorney Ms. McClure, children's attorney Ms. Gaston, and various agency workers. All right, and we are here this morning for an adjudication in this matter, and it's my understanding, Ms. Rathburn, that your client intends to enter a plea to the allegations of the amended petition. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor. And I will note for the record, she is sitting right here next to me, but she's hesitant to have her face on screen for Mr. Young to see her.
All right.
They have a past history that makes her feel fearful for her current, how she looks right now to be known
Okay.
to. So,
Okay. All right. Does anybody have an objection to her staying off screen? Ms. Clifton?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. And Ms. Desire, would you raise your right hand?
she's raising her right hand.
And would you state your name for the record, please, nice and loud?
Erica Desire.
And would you spell your name for the record? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank you. And are the parties willing to waive the reading of the petition?
Yes, Your
Yes,
Honor.
Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and to be clear, we are the prosecutor did file an amended petition on April 29th. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yes,
Your
Your Honor.
Okay. And Ms. Gaston, do you believe that the proposed pleas are in the best plea is in the best interest of your clients?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Desire, do you understand the petition?
Yes.
Okay. If you in fact enter a plea to these allegations today, you'll be giving up a number of rights. The first is the right to a trial by a judge or a jury, the right to require that the prosecutor prove the allegations by a preponderance or a majority of the evidence, the right to question the prosecutor's witnesses in person in court under oath, and the right to have the court order that any witnesses you believe could be helpful to you come to court in person to testify. Do you have any questions about any of these rights?
No.
Do you understand the rights that you'll be losing or giving up if you enter a plea today?
Yes.
Okay, you hesitated. If you have questions, it's okay. We can take a break for you to talk to your attorney, or if you want clarification from me, we can do that as well.
You need a minute to talk to me? She does. How about I
Okay.
put us on mute?
All right.
Okay, Your Honor.
All right.
After discussing it with Ms. Desire, she wanted clarification that giving up her rights to a trial does not mean that we are taking away her rights to her children. That's when she heard rights and she was hesitant that way, so.
Okay. All right. I'm going to ask you the questions again, Ms. Desire. Do you have any questions about the legal rights in terms of process that I just told you about?
Well, do you have questions about that? This is your rights to the trial, not versus rights to your children.
No,
Do you need me to go over them again?
no,
You're sure?
yes,
Okay. And do you understand those rights?
yes,
Okay. Now, there'll be a number of consequences that may flow from your plea today. They won't necessarily happen. Some of them will, but most of them won't. But I have to tell you all of the possibilities. The first is that your children will be made temporary wards of the court. And that means that the court has broad discretion regarding where they're placed, which can be in foster care with you, with a relative, or in a suitable institution. You will be required to comply with a treatment plan to show that you're able to provide a safe and appropriate home for your children. You may also be required to pay for some of the costs of this case, including your attorney's fees, costs of care if children are placed outside of the home, counseling costs, etc. And now we all hope that this next thing will not happen, and it's certainly not happening today. But I'm required again to tell you about all the possible future consequences of your plea. If you can't show that you can provide a safe and appropriate home for your children within a reasonable amount of time, given the circumstances of the case and your progress, there may be a future request to terminate your parental rights, and your plea today may be used as evidence in that proceeding. If in the future your rights to your children are terminated, that will mean that you will have no input as to your children's medical treatment, education, discipline, or residence. You will also have no right to parenting time with your children and no right to inherit from them or receive your earnings. If you have a child support obligation, it will continue until a court of competent jurisdiction modifies or terminates it, an order of adoption is entered, or the child is emancipated by operation of law. Again, I'm just telling you all the possibilities, and none of that is going to happen today or anytime in the near future. Do you understand all of these possible consequences?
yes, I do, Judge. And I just wanted to let you know, I have been putting things in motion already, making a better living for my children.
Okay, that's fine. I don't want you to, this is just a time for me to tell you your rights.
Yes,
So
okay.
I'm going to hear all about that a little bit later, okay?
Okay,
But yes, that is my understanding, is that you're on track for reunification and reification quickly. So I understand all of that. Again, I just have to tell you all the possibilities.
understand.
If things were to turn, not go well. All right. Do you have any questions regarding those possible consequences of today's plea if you choose to admit the allegations in the petition?
No, I do not.
Okay. And have you reviewed the amended petition and the plea agreement with your attorney?
Yes, I have.
Do you need to speak with her again before we go any further?
No, I do not.
Okay. At this point, I'm going to go through line by line the petition and ask you whether you admit or deny. Okay. So paragraph A reads, Ms. Erica Desire is the legal mother of. Do you admit
Agree.
or deny?
Admit.
Paragraph B reads, Mr. Patrick Young Sr. is the legal father of via a final order and judgment of paternity and support out of the state of Florida, case number 5614 DR 1315. Patrick Young Sr. has not come forward to provide any care, custody, financial, or emotional support for the children. Additionally, Mr. Young has done nothing to rectify the conditions that exist in the home, which caused this case to come before the court. Do you admit or deny?
Admit.
Paragraph C reads, on February 23rd, 2025, Ms. Desire had a mental health crisis. She contacted emergency services. Emergency services reports that Ms. Desire made suicidal and homicidal statements regarding herself and her children. Ms. Desire has no recollection of the statements, but was later hospitalized that day to address her mental health concerns.
Admit.
Paragraph D, on February 23rd, 2025, Children's Protective Services spoke with Ms. Erica Desire. She denied that she has any family members or friends in Michigan to take custody of the children.
Admit.
Thank you. Has anybody made any promises to you or threatened you in any way in order to encourage you to admit these allegations?
No.
Are the admissions that you just made of your own free will?
Yes.
Has anyone told you that you would get better treatment or easier treatment from the court if you admitted these allegations?
No.
All right. I am satisfied that there's a factual basis to accept Ms. Desire's plea, that she has been fully advised of her rights and is freely, understandingly, and voluntarily entering into this plea regarding the allegations of the amended petition. I further find by a preponderance of the evidence that one or more of the statutory grounds alleged in the petition are true, and that Erica Desire is a respondent in this matter. And Ms. Clifton, would you and your adjudicated witnesses like to be excused?
Yes, Your Honor. I think typically I'd stick for a rapid reunification case, but we're super backed up this morning.
Okay.
And I have faith in Ms. Gaston. And so, yes, if me and Ms. Lenz could be excused, that would be great.
Okay. Does anybody have an objection?
No objection.
No objection.
No objections.
All right. Thank you. You're excused.
Thank you.
And Ms. Gaston, are you prepared to go on to disposition at this time?
I believe so, Your Honor. I would call Ayanna Collins Brazino, if that's how I say it. Ms. Collins Brazino, are you the foster care specialist assigned to the KD and GD matter before us today?
Yes, I am.
And with whom are you employed?
Catholic Charities, West Michigan.
Right. As a part of your duties, did you have an opportunity to review the original CPS investigation report with a complaint date of 2/23/2025?
I do not recall.
All right. Did you prepare a parent agency treatment plan and initial case service plan with a report date of 3/20/2025?
Yes.
I'd ask that that be admitted as Exhibit 1, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right.
Ms. McClure, you're muted.
Sorry, no objection.
Thank you.
Would you like me to just run through them all, Your Honor? And
that would be fine.
Okay. All right. Did you also have an opportunity to receive forensic fluid test results for Miss Desire, collection dates from 3/6/25 to 4/8/25 for a total of 5 tests?
Yes.
I'd ask that that be marked as Exhibit 2. Did you also review and receive a Michigan Parenting Resource Certificate of Completion for Miss Desire from an internet parenting class dated 3/23/25?
Yes.
I'd ask that that be marked as Exhibit 3. Did Miss Desire also complete a trauma toolbox class and receive a certificate of completion for that one as well with the date of 3/23/25?
Yes.
I'd ask that that be marked as Exhibit 4. Did you have an opportunity to review the Pine Rest Psychosocial Evaluation and Progress Notes for Miss Desire?
Yes.
I'd ask that that be marked as Exhibit 5. And did you have an opportunity to review her Forest View patient summary?
Yes.
I'd ask that that be marked as Exhibit 6. And that's the totality, so I would ask for the admission of all 6 of those exhibits, Your Honor.
All right. Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
No objection.
All right. They're all marked and admitted as presented.
All right. Ms. Collins Brazeno, can you tell us what led to the court becoming involved in this matter regarding KD and GD?
Miss Desire had a mental health crisis in which she had suicidal and homicidal ideations involving herself and her children were left without proper care and custody.
And is it your understanding that she herself, Miss Desire, actually sought help?
Yes,
And unfortunately, there was no one to take care of the children that were family members here locally, and therefore they were taken into child protective custody. Is that correct?
correct.
All right. So in seeking help, was Ms. Desire first lodged at Forest View?
Yes, she was.
All right. And for how long was she there?
She was there from, excuse me, let me check my notes. 2/23/2025 to 3/3/2025.
And is it your understanding that there is a diagnosis of anxiety and possible PTSD?
Yes, as well as major depressive disorder.
All right. And has Ms. Desire got a treatment plan as a result of her stay there?
Yes, she has.
And what is that treatment plan?
Attending therapy, which she has been attending through Pine Rest, and taking medications as prescribed. And she also has a safety plan with emergency hotlines to call.
All right. And with regard to the medications that she's prescribed, during your forensic fluids testing, have you been able to determine whether or not she's actually taking those medications?
Yes, on all tests that we tested for Prozac and Seroquel, she was positive.
And not positive for any illegal substances. Is that also correct?
Correct.
All right. With regards to the onset of this situation, from your review of the documents from the therapy progress notes, does it appear that Ms. Desire has been struggling with mental health for some time?
Yes, it does.
And therefore, she made an admission that she had stopped taking her meds and stopped going to therapy, leading to this situation. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And so, what are you doing to ensure that she understands that she must be on this medication and following a treatment plan, essentially, until and unless her mental health issues are completely resolved?
I've had continued conversations with Miss Desire that as part of her treatment plan, she is to attend therapy and take her medication as prescribed. I have received the reports from her therapist and will continue to ensure that she's attending, and we will continue to test her for her medications.
Okay. Normally, I would start off with the children, so I'm going to transition to the children at this time. Where are KD and GD placed? And I don't mean a physical address. I just mean the type of housing that they are in.
They're placed in a licensed foster home.
And are they comfortable in that home?
Yes, they've adjusted very well.
They share a room in that home, is that correct?
Yes,
And both attend the same school that they did attend prior to them coming into care. Is that correct as well?
correct. Yes.
All right. Speaking of their needs, did you arrange for them to begin therapy?
Yes, they started therapy on April 23rd, and they will be receiving weekly therapy, trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy.
And so that was just last week, correct?
Correct.
And is that at Wedgwood?
Yes.
Have you had any feedback from the therapist or from the children as to whether or not that's a good connection?
I haven't been able to speak to the therapist yet, but from the foster parents, from the therapist, they stated that KD was lying and not coming to terms with the situation, and the therapist had concerns of her eating her feelings, and that GD has had depression symptoms since she was 9 years old.
So it appears that they do need therapy, and that this therapist has elicited some pretty important information. Is that true?
Yes, and from their initial assessments as well, they both qualified for therapy, and from their trauma screenings as well, they both ranked with enough trauma to qualify for therapy.
All right. Are there any other mental health services that you feel are appropriate to provide for them at this time?
No.
Right. With regard to school, let's see. KD, I believe, is in the 8th grade. Is that true?
Yes.
And how is she doing at school?
She's had low grades and some missing assignments, but she's been working with the foster parents to get her missing assignments in, and her grades have been getting better.
So when she entered care, was she behind in assignments?
Yes.
All right. But the foster parents have been working with her, and is she now up to speed, or does she still have old assignments that are due?
I believe she's mostly up to speed.
All right. Were her poor grades consistent historically, or was that something new?
They were similarly season Bs in the prior semester as well.
All right. Does she have an IEP?
No.
Are there any special services that the school is providing to her?
No.
Is there a need for tutors or anything of that nature, or was it simply a lack of, doing the work?
I think it was a lack of doing the work and maybe not asking for help when she needed it.
All right. Let's talk about GD. GD is in the 6th grade, is that right?
Yes.
And she does have an IEP, is that correct?
Yes.
And what are the components of her IEP?
I do not recall the exact components. I know that she has struggles paying attention and completing her work as necessary.
And is it true that the school reached out and they have got a team together to help work on her over exuberance in class there? Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And she too was behind, correct?
Yes.
But again, the foster family has been proactive and helped her catch up her assignments. True?
Yes, correct.
Right. KD, I believe, saw an orthodontist, and it appears that she has some needs in that area. What are those?
So she has tongue issues and a lip tie. So a referral.
I'm sorry to
was made-
interrupt. Are we talking about, are we back to KD? Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I thought we'd switched back. I just want to make sure. Thank you.
So a referral was made for myofunctional therapy for her tongue habits and her low tongue posture. And she was referred for a release of a lip tie to a pediatric dentist because she needs these tongue issues addressed before they can initiate orthodontics.
All right. And have you investigated whether or not Ms. Desire's insurance or WMPC or someone will pick up the bills on that end?
I have not yet.
All right. Medically, both girls, are they up to date on immunizations?
Yes, they had a well child on 3/6/2025.
And were there any physical concerns noted for either of them?
No.
All right. And with regard to dental issues, have they both seen a dentist at this point in time?
Not since they've entered care. Their dental is due 5/23/25.
And is that something that you're arranging?
Yes, our health schedule will schedule a dental appointment.
And with regard to their medical and dental appointments, Ms. Desire has been attending the bulk of those. Is that correct?
Ms. Desire attended their medical and their blood work appointment. Ms. Desire was invited to their orthodontist appointment and did not attend.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Is there anything else that you feel that the court needs to be advised with regard to KD and GD?
I do think it's important to note that they were having supervised phone calls twice weekly, and because of behavior surrounding these phone calls, for example, shutting down and not talking for an hour after the phone calls, and GD crying during the phone calls, these phone calls were changed to one time daily.
All right. And how have the girls reacted to that?
They've reacted better, and they've had less reactions to the phone calls. GD was having some flashbacks to the night that they were removed surrounding these phone calls, and they weren't having time to do their homework and get things done and have time to themselves with 2 phone calls a night. So they've been doing better with the 1 call a day.
All right, thank you. All right, now returning to Ms. Desire, what barriers have you determined to be in place for her to address prior to reunification?
Emotional stability is a barrier. She was diagnosed with recurrent major depressive disorder, in partial remission, generalized anxiety disorder, and PTSD as of 4/23/25. Her treatment plan progress at Pine Rest was marked as moderate improvement. Ms. Desire spoke of her lesson learned of not taking kids for granted and stated that she sees now that she put too much on them and she wants to make sure she gives them a life that lets them go back to being children. She stated that on 4/17. She has a history of trauma, and she also believed she was being harassed by her neighbor before the children were removed. And now she is attending therapy through Pine Rest and psychiatry services as well. And then another barrier is child characteristics. Ms. Desire stated that she did not see a need for therapy services for KD and GD, and stated that they talk to her, so she does not see why they need to talk to others about their emotions. I stress that the importance of KD and GD attending therapy after they are returned to her care, and Ms. Desire then asked me to change her statement to Ms. Desire is not denying having the kids see a therapist. She just needs to discuss it with her lawyer. This was on 4/22/25. I also received a screenshot on 3/11 of text between KD and Ms. Desire of Ms. Desire asking KD for money. Ms. Desire initially was calling GD and KD during school and then asking why they did not answer, and was calling the girls all the time. This was the cause for the phone call schedule, for the daily schedule. Foster parents stated that Ms. Desire stated to GD that the phone calls were changed to once a day because of GD's crying. Ms. Desire continues to tell KD to be strong for her sister and to look out for GD. And Katie reported to me that she is stressed and struggling too, but feels like she needs to be strong for her sister because Ms. Desire tells her she needs to be. Ms. Desire was calling GD and Katie when she was not alone and not available to talk. For example, when she was volunteering for church or getting her nails done. And then her other barrier is parenting skills, which she has taken the online certification classes for and been referred to a parent nurturing class. It was supposed to be the class starting May 12th, but she asked to begin the class on June 30th, the next summer class.
All right, with regard to child characteristics, what referrals have you made or will you be making for her to get a handle on appropriate child development and characteristics?
The parent nurturing class, and then as well as therapy, and she's been referred to KRP.
And the parent nurturing class, is that the one that isn't going to begin until June 30th, or is that a different class?
That's the one that will be June 30th.
All right. Between now and June 30th, is there anything that she's involved in besides her own therapy that would help address this area?
Not that I know of. Hopefully KRP can work with her on some of those things.
All right. With regard to parenting skills, she has been attending her parenting time. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And is there a support partner there during parenting time, or what is the structure of the parenting time?
It's just me supervising the visits right now. They've been at the agency, and today, actually, they will be moved to the Casa House for a more family-friendly environment. So it's currently just the girls and Miss Desire and me supervising.
And are the girls bonded to Miss Desire?
Yes, they are.
And is it your understanding that they wish to be returned to her care quickly?
Yes. Yes.
All right. And are they aware of, what mental health sort of disaster struck their mother?
I do not think they're fully aware. I believe that it has been stated that they did not hear the homicidal and suicidal statements, and I do not think they are fully aware of the situation that occurred.
All right. Is that something that you will discuss with their therapist so that when the time is appropriate for them to be more in tune to what to look out for in case of a future problem, we would address that with them?
Yes.
Right. And parenting skills, you spoke of some texting. My understanding is that the present order was supervised or unsupervised parenting time, but you had designated it to be supervised. Is that correct?
Correct.
And during the alleged supervised parenting time, there were violations with regard to texting the girls without supervision. Is that right?
Correct.
All right. Have those errors been addressed with Ms. Desire?
Yes, they have, and she has not been texting them since.
All right. And overall, you do believe that she has made significant progress in addressing her mental health issues in this short period of time between removal and today's hearing. Is that right?
I do believe so. And there are other strengths as well that I do have now some concerns about since I wrote my report. Domestic relations, communication, and interpersonal skills, and housing.
And during this next report period, will you be working with her on those areas?
Yes.
So housing, you mentioned, is that, did she lose her housing over the stay in the hospital, or has she desired to move because of the alleged interference of the neighbor?
She plans to move in June. She currently does have housing, and she did provide me with proof of housing. However, it is a concern that she moves often, and KD reported to me that the family had moved multiple times in the past. And Mr. Young stated that Ms. Desire has run from her problems and moved before when issues arise. And Ms. Desire had stated originally to me that she was planning to move to Florida before her children were removed, and she planned to move to Florida after they were returned to her care. I don't know if that is still her plan, but we just have concerns about them moving to Florida and continuing with their services, with our services, excuse me. And we want to make sure that those services continue wherever they go.
Right. She is employed, correct?
Yes, she is employed, and she provided me with proof of employment.
All right. And with regard to domestic relations, at the moment, she's not involved with anyone, but are you referring to Mr. Young?
Yes. Both Mr. Young and Ms. Desire have reported a history of domestic violence, and Mr. Young reported to me that he went to prison for not letting them take Ms. Desire to jail, and he stated that she was beating on him and holding a knife to him, and then he took the girls. Sorry, she took the girls.
Okay. And so you'll be referring her where? To the Y or somewhere like that to work on those relationships?
Yes, we'll be discussing these issues with Ms. Desire and assessing if this is an issue that needs to be further assessed.
All right, thank you. All right, let's briefly talk about Mr. Young. He has been determined to be legal father, is that correct?
Yes.
And are you working with him in any way to address reunification or a relationship with his children?
Mr. Young has been writing me letters for KD and GD through email, and I've been sending those to the girls. And I also gave him the sizes for their shoes and clothing as he requested to send them some items. And I've been in some communication with him about the case, and I know that he does want to get visitation time with the girls. The girls currently have stated to me that they don't want to see him, but they are getting to the point where they would like to write him back at least. So he's just trying to build a relationship with them and allow them to get to know him.
And you would agree that that's appropriate, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What are your recommendations for today?
It is respectfully recommended that KD and GD remain temporary court wards and placed in a licensed foster home with an approved relative or with their mother, Miss Erica Desire. That visits with Ms. Desire and Mr. Young will be supervised or unsupervised at the agency's discretion, that Ms. Desire comply with and benefit from her parent agency treatment plan, and that a review hearing be scheduled as required.
Thank you.
Ms. Rathberg.
Thank you, Your Honor. Here, let me get a minute to get my notes together. All right, well, let me work backwards since that's most fresh in my mind. Why would we offer Mr. Young unsupervised visits when he hasn't seen the girls since 2014?
We are recommending unsupervised or supervised visits at the agency's discretion.
Let me just interject so that we can cut to the chase here. He is not a respondent. This court has no jurisdiction over him, and any parenting time would be governed by the Florida order.
Okay, very good, Your Honor. Well, then I'll work from that. Now, also, I just was concerned that you took information from Mr. Young from 2014 regarding actions of my client. Have you had an opportunity to discuss with her what he said about her actions?
No, I said that this is new information and it's not in the current report. So these are things that we would discuss with both Ms. Desire and Mr. Young further and find proof if these are true statements.
Okay. Do you have an understanding that the Florida paperwork indicates that he's not to have any contact with the girls?
I have an understanding that there was a no contact order, but it has expired.
Okay. Do you have an understanding from the Florida courts why he has a no contact order?
I do not.
Okay. Is that something that you should probably look into before you talk about this with Ms. Desire as well?
I can.
Okay. Let's move forward then. Housing. So you're saying housing is now a concern because she quote unquote moves often, and that's based again on information from Mr. Young. What about her current home? Is it satisfactory for the girls to be returned to?
I have not visited her current home.
Oh, we've had these girls in care since February. Why haven't you been to see her home yet?
I have not had the chance.
Okay. Is that something you can schedule right away?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And talking with Miss Desire about moving to Florida, you're aware she's originally from Florida, correct?
Yes.
And does she have relatives and other support people in Florida that she could still, that she could use if she was living close to them?
Yes.
And so do you understand that part of her evaluation of whether or not she would move to Florida was feeling somewhat unsure about this whole court case and things like that and not having supports here? Are you aware that she has since engaged with her church and she's gained supports through her church?
Yes.
Okay. And if she's moving to a different house, have you talked with her about where this house is or what it might look like?
No, she gave me some information that it's in June and that she was getting things together for it. But since it's in June, I have not acquired the information about this housing yet.
Okay. Do you know that she's actually been talking with KRP about this move and they're helping her to make this happen?
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about, she also has had a job pretty much she was able to resume her job once she was out of the hospital. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is she able to pay her bills?
Yes.
You've done a budget with her and you're satisfied that she can pay the bills?
Yes.
Okay. Now this thing with her asking money for the girls, did you ask her about what that was about?
On a family team meeting, I did address it and she denied that she asked the girls for money.
Okay. Now, maybe you could talk to her more about this, but she explained to me that the girls have an app on their phone, that relatives or people will send them money and that she needs to access the account to exchange the money with them. You didn't have the understanding that these girls somehow have a lot of money in their account from what? From working or from relatives, and that she's trying to steal their money from them?
The girls receive a budget from a family member in Florida, an allowance.
Okay.
And I believe that is the money that's in Cash App.
Now, is that allowance so used to pay their phones and things like that?
I do not know.
Okay. Maybe that's something else that we can explore, because if in fact this money from the relatives is used to pay their phone bill, they don't directly pay their phone bill. I would assume it'd be their mother. So maybe there would be some explanation behind this situation that you can further explore at the next.
As far as I know, the allowance is for spending money from what the girls have told me.
Okay. But again, you haven't really discussed it with Miss Desire directly since the family team meeting?
No.
Okay. All right. Talking about communication skills, why is that becoming an issue at this time?
Excuse me, let me refer to my notes. Ms. Desire has been resistant and non-compliant with some of my requests. She first did not follow the set schedule for phone calls and texted Katie to not tell the foster parents that she was texting with them. Ms. Desire refused to sign the parent agency treatment plan until she discussed it with her attorney on 4/22. Ms. Desire initially told the parent nurturing class worker to call her attorney before she would agree to take the parenting class, then called back and agreed, but asked to take it in the summer. Ms. Desire has been informed that she should be in private and available to speak for phone calls with KD and GD, and has continued to take these calls when she is not in private and not fully available to speak.
Well, let me back this up. This is going to be a communication issue for her to actually pull me in and actually talk to me about legal issues. I don't know how the agency can turn that into a communication issue. What's your understanding that people talking to their attorneys and asking questions before they sign things?
That is not what I'm stating. I'm stating that she has refused to sign the parent agency treatment plan, and since she has not come back to me and said that she's spoken with her attorney and she's ready to sign it, and in terms of the parenting class, I tried to give her a call about the parenting class and discuss what her concerns were, as well as with the parent agency treatment plan. I wanted to discuss with her what the concerns were, and she would not tell me.
Okay, well, part of this could be on me, is that she's waiting to talk to me about these things. I didn't have an expectation, and I did email you. Is there a deadline that she needs to sign the parent agency agreement? And you didn't give me that idea that if she didn't sign it before today's hearing, it would then turn up into a concern. Correct? You didn't let me know.
What email are you referring to? What did you say?
I emailed you about the parent agency agreement last week and inquired of you about what the parenting class was entailing. And I think was there, because it wasn't actually in the parent agency agreement about the parenting class. And I asked whether or not you were going to amend the parent agency treatment plan to have the class as an expectation, so that when she was signing it, that would be the signed expectation. And you said you weren't changing the parent agency agreement. It was what it was, correct?
Yes, that's correct. You told me that Ms. Desire had told you that I amended the parent agency treatment plan, and you asked for the newest version, and I informed you that I had not amended the parent agency treatment plan. And in the parenting skills section of the parent agency treatment plan, it states that Ms. Desire will be referred to a parenting class.
All right, well, let's talk about that. Do you recall the date that we had the FTM?
I do not recall.
Okay. I'm gonna dig through. Felt like we had an FTM in March. Would that sound about right?
Yeah.
Okay. And in March at that FTM, Miss Desire was asking, what can I do to get, feet on the ground and get going? And you informed her, well, you could take this parent nurturing class that's offered in May. Correct?
I don't know if I gave a date or if it was the parent nurturing class. I believe it may have been a different one, a trauma-informed class.
Okay. Yep. Here's my IFTM paperwork. So we had a family team meeting on March 11th of 2025, correct?
Yes.
Okay. On March 11th of 2025, I'm looking at this. It said that there was a parenting class, but it wouldn't be able to be open for her right here. Will be referred to a parenting class, trauma-informed parenting. Caseworker will refer to Wedgwood classes. Next class begins 4/16 through 5/21 on Thursdays in person. Was that class actually available for her to take?
I do not know.
Okay. Then the caseworker will also look into parenting classes through MSU Extension, sessions-based, weekly, self-based. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, immediately after the FTM, I asked what classes through the MSU Extension would the agency want her to take? And did you ever give me direction on what specific classes she needed to take?
No, I did not.
Okay. And so the certificates that we have that I appreciate that you've attached for today's hearing, those are actually classes that my client went through the extension list of classes and felt that they would be helpful for her to take, and she completed those classes. Will those classes be, acceptable through the agency as contributing to helping her on her treatment plan?
Yes, those are considered a contribution to her need of parenting skills. And we also would like her to still take another parenting class.
Okay, and that other parenting class, I feel like I just got that maybe last week or 2 weeks ago.
Is that a question?
Yes. Do you recall when you told me about the other class she could take?
I do not recall the exact date, but I believe it was probably about 2 weeks ago or a week ago.
Okay. All right. Now this current parent nurturing class, what is the theme of that class? What is that going to go over with her?
Goals of parenting and basic needs of how to parent, forms of discipline that are not physical discipline, emotional and physical needs of children.
Okay. Wasn't the trauma-informed class a better fit for these girls who have trauma symptoms and for girls that didn't come into care for neglect? I mean, it wasn't like they never went to a dentist or a doctor, correct?
Did they never go to a dentist or a doctor?
Yes.
No, that's not true.
Okay. So I guess I'll rephrase this. Wouldn't a trauma-informed parenting class be a better fit for this circumstance versus a basic parenting course about basic needs for children?
I believe that this parenting class will still be a benefit for Ms. Desire.
Okay. Now you indicated that Ms. Desire was not refusing to take this course. Were you aware that the time of the class would be directly during the time that she's supposed to be working?
I did not state that she was refusing to take it. I stated that she asked to take it in the summer instead. And
Okay.
I do know that she works, so I did let the parent nurturing worker know that she does work, and that is probably why she wants to take it in the summer.
Okay. All right. Let me make sure that I'm getting through everything here. Sorry about this. So, and the parenting time with her and the girls, I mean, they seem loving and bonding throughout the parenting time.
Yes.
Okay. And is there any signs during the observations of the supervised parenting time that she puts these girls at any risk of harm?
No.
Okay. You did testify, and this is something I want to emphasize. There is no documentation from anyone from CPS or from the girls themselves that they actually heard what Miss Desire was saying during her 911 call for help.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And the trauma from the girls, would you attribute a large part of that from being separated from their mother for the first time ever?
That's a part of the trauma, but they also have trauma from being in her care.
What kind of trauma for being in her care?
Multiple moves. She has mental health issues, and that is not only they could see that, but it's also hereditary. And whatever domestic violence history there is, I don't know the involvement. I know that we completed a trauma screen, and I cannot recall the exact boxes that were checked, but they did have significant trauma.
Okay. Is it your understanding that during some of the visits, Miss Desire will work on homework with the girls?
Not at any visits that I've seen.
Okay. Is that something she could be doing over the phone when she has phone calls with them?
Yes.
Okay. You have all the releases you need for Miss Desire at this point, so you're in full communication with all of her care providers?
Yes.
In regards to the girls in counseling, she did in fact agree to them in counseling after she discussed it further with you. Is that how that worked out?
No, she said that she would need to speak with her attorney,
Okay.
and then she would see if she would agree to it.
And I guess you indicated it when there was her doing more of the calls, before that was corrected, that she was calling quote unquote when the girls were in church activities or getting their nails done. I mean,
No.
was she provided a schedule of the girls?
This was not them getting their nails done or them being in church. This was Miss Desire was volunteering for church and getting her nails done while she was calling the girls. And so the girls were not able to fully talk with Miss Desire because she was busy.
Okay, I'm looking at my client who doesn't have her nails done, but maybe there's some miscommunication there. Well,
This was a couple months ago. They could have gone
okay.
out.
All right. Well, I guess to summarize at this point, I feel that there's more services being offered to her when in fact we should be moving forward. Is it the agency's feeling that we're going to keep creating more issues to delay reunification? Because I'd hate to think that that's the case.
We're not creating more issues. We are ensuring that Miss Desire's mental health is stable and that KD and GD both have stable mental health and will be continuing services when they are returned. We do not think that they should not be returned, but we just want to make sure that they will be mentally safe as well as Miss Desire will have stable mental health.
Okay. And when we do look at returning the children, there's still going to be boards of the court. So it's not as if Miss Desire has, are you concerned that Miss Desire will just flee the minute the girls are replaced in her home?
Due to concerns of her fleeing from issues in the past that KD reported to me, yes.
Wow. Okay. And this just came up and has not been discussed with Miss Desire at this point.
It has not been discussed with her because I do not know her plan. She has not told me her plan. All I want to ensure is that if they were to move, services would continue.
Okay. So, all right. I have no other questions at this time. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. McClure.
Thank you. The letters that Mr. Young is writing through you for the children, those have been appropriate?
Yes.
Okay. And they at least are tolerant of receiving those and they're starting to think about wanting to write back. Is that correct?
Yes, they've told their foster parents that they would like to write back, but they just aren't quite ready yet.
Okay. And they just recently started working with a therapist, very, very recently. So maybe that's something that therapists can continue to discuss with them.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. And basically at this point, he needs to continue to do that, send them items that they need. Hopefully they'll write back and then maybe at some point there would be phone calls. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Are you aware that there is a child support order in place with Mr. Young being the payer of support?
Miss Desire did inform me of this child support order, but I have not physically seen it.
Okay. So you're aware of it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Ms. Gaston?
No follow-up, Your Honor.
Ms. Rothburn, any follow-up?
Sorry. No, thank you. Just had to find my mute button.
All right. Ms. Gaston, any additional witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Rothburn, any witnesses?
I would like to have my client testify just a short bit, Your Honor.
All right. Okay. You're still under oath from previous? Do you understand that, Ms. Desire?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Rothburn.
All right, thank you. Well, Ms. Desire, let's answer a few questions that were raised. For your proposed move in June, where are you moving? Where general location are you moving to?
It will still be in the same state as Michigan, exactly like 30 seconds from my job.
Okay, so still in the same area where you're at right now?
Yes.
Okay. And have you been discussing this move with KRP?
Yes, I have.
Okay, very good. And with this domestic violence allegations, well, let me back up. Do you feel that you flee and move the girls often?
No, I do not. If you can actually check their school records, my kids have had stable living where they've been into their schools for multiple of years, elementary, I'm sorry, from preschool to elementary, middle school.
It's been in the same school?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Are you open to taking the courses and the recommended parenting time classes that are being referred to by the agency?
Yes.
Okay. And you're willing to 100% cooperate with anything that KRP asks you to do?
Yes, I am.
All right. And do you feel that you've made significant progress since you were hospitalized?
Yes, I have.
How do you want to describe what you're doing to maintain your mental health?
I keep myself very productive. I'm also joined a church where I volunteer in the community. Even with my job at work, I work with the district. So I'm constantly keeping myself productive. I'm also seeing my therapist and my psychologist, taking my medicine as directed, as I've been drug tested and my medicine has been in my system. Also, I've been progressing with giving my kids better living.
Okay. Was there
Yes.
anything else from the testimony from Catholic Charities that you wanted to respond to?
I think it was kind of discussed so far.
All right, very good. Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Gaston, any questions?
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Desire, you,
Yes.
do you recall indicating to your telemed clinician at the Zealand Clinic that you felt that your medications were causing an increase in your eating and that that was concerning to you?
Yes.
And despite that, you're committed to maintaining your medication regimen?
Yes, I am.
Right. Do you concede that there was a prior incident where at least the hospital notes indicated that you may have attempted suicide by car?
No, I have not.
You didn't discuss that there was misinformation in your chart where the chart indicated that that had occurred?
I do not recollect that. That was not actually in my chart.
And you are aware that you were in therapy and you were on medication, but that stopping that is what led us to where we are today. Is that accurate?
That's correct. And I also have learned that I need my medicine, and I have been taking my medicine as I explained to the agency the importance that me taking my medicine is not only on myself, but my children as well. So each and every day I'm getting up and making sure that I'm doing what I need to do.
All right. And you will ensure that the children receive the recommended services from the agency. Is that right?
That is correct.
And you intend to follow through with what's recommended for you?
Definitely.
All right. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Ms. McClure, any questions?
Thank you. Yes, please. Thank you. Ms. Desire, when did you move to Michigan?
I moved here October of 2022.
Okay. And did you notify Mr. Young when you moved to Michigan with the children?
Mr. Young has no authority as to knowing where I moved to. He doesn't have not legal rights, but he has also given up his rights with the children. So me discussing where I moved to, no.
Is there an order terminating his rights somewhere that I'm not aware of?
Due to his history with violence, the Department of Children and Family in Florida took his parental rights, which he can no longer be around the kids till they're 18 years old.
So you're saying that the final order and judgment of paternity and support out of St. Lucie County is not accurate?
Actually, I have not showed it to her, so I think that would have to be something that we have a foundation to show it to her.
And I'm just going to interject.
That's not true. That's not true.
Sir, this is not time for you to speak. You have an attorney. That is not appropriate. You would not be allowed to do that in a physical courtroom, and you can't do it here. And I'm going to just interject and indicate Mr. Young is not a respondent in this matter. I've already indicated that whatever the Florida order is what governs, unless and until this court takes further action, and custody is not on the table here, and I'm not going to get into it.
Okay. I'm just following up on the statements that she testified just now about moving.
I understand, but I'm just saying we need to keep it limited.
Fair enough. All right. So just to clarify, you did not tell Mr. Young when you moved in October of 2022 to Michigan, correct?
No, I did not.
Okay. And where did you live before that move?
I lived in Port St. Lucie, Florida for
Okay.
5 years.
Okay. All right. And how many different addresses have you had in Michigan since your move in October of 2022?
Just one.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
All right, thank you. Ms. Gaston, any follow-up?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Rathburn, any follow-up?
No, thank you.
All right. Let's see, Ms. Rathburn, any further witnesses?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. McClure, any witnesses?
No, thank you.
All right. Statements, Ms. Gaston.
Thank you, Your Honor. I did have an opportunity to meet with the girls on March 24th of 2025 at their foster home. They were a little reserved because it was a first meeting, but the home is appropriate for the girls. They seem to be getting adjusted there at that time. Both had indicated to me at that time a desire to at least hear from their father and begin potentially communicating with him. I do support the recommendations of the agency. I do realize that this case is rapid reunification, which I'm not real familiar with, but I understand we go in 2-month increments. I hope that the court gleaned from the testimony that there are some concerns here, and mainly it's mental health. And I think Ms. Desire is attacking that problem, but we don't want to move too quickly and jeopardize the safety of these children. So I support the recommendations in their entirety. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Rathburn.
Well, thank you, Your Honor. I think you can tell from the questions I was asking that I'm a bit disappointed in how we've been working together on this case. And I feel like I've kind of come unyoked from the agency at different times. Since we had that meeting on 3/11, my client was already out from the hospital and was ready to rearing to go. What do I need to do? What kind of things can I take? What classes can I take? And we were told, well, there's a parenting class. It's not going to be available until later. Maybe go through MSU extension. And they really didn't follow back up right away. So my client just went through and picked out classes and took them, which I'm glad that they're going to apply to this. But again, she was initially told to take a trauma-informed parenting class, and now we're looking at a parent nurturing class, which I don't think is necessary. I think the trauma-informed one would be a better fit for what we got going on here and the trauma the girls have been through. And I'm just concerned that we're going to throw her parenting classes for the sake of giving her something to do. And that's not necessarily a good use of resources for either my client or the agency. The other concern I have is that we have all these new concernings blooming up, and we've not had another family team meeting to even discuss, what these concerns are, what they're looking at for addressing with my client. I do have a client that wants to talk to me. I'm her resource here. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I think it's fair enough for her to say, well, I'm not quite sure about this, and let me talk to my attorney. And then I feel like I don't always get really quick communication back, and I get that everyone's busy. But I don't want to just keep assigning new concerns here and slow this process down when the main concern that brought these girls in wasn't because they hadn't been to a doctor or dentist or they're failing class and they don't attend. It's her mental health. And she was caught in a situation where she didn't have supports for them to go to. And so she does get pulled into this case. The girls are suffering from not being with their mother. This is their first time they've been separated from her. And my client understands the significance of what happened to her that day. I think she's very sad and in herself that this is how things happened. And I think giving her the benefits of the resources we can through this case so that she has more depth, that when she is feeling more out of sorts with her mental health, she'll have a better, resource index to go to. Oh, I can call this person. I can talk to this person. I can do this, which is what she's getting through Pine Rest. She's getting this through KRP. She's already indicated to me they've been a really great source of support for her. And so I just want to keep this moving forward. And I'm talking to my client. I'm telling her this is not an overnight process. The girls weren't going to come home to her today, right? But I don't want to be like, oh, 2 months later, we're still with supervised visits, because now we've got more concerns. based on what Mr. Young said, and he hasn't been around since 2014. So I don't know why he should be directing what her parent agency treatment plan looks like. And so I'd appreciate more communication. Having another FTM, I think right after this hearing would be really helpful for us to talk through these issues and maybe see what else we can figure out. And so I would ask the court to adopt the recommendations that we move forward for unsupervised parenting time with my client. I just got that order signed by the court that we can move that way, that we have a dual order in place to return to her home as soon as we all feel that the girls are safe. And you've heard her testimony. She's willing to do what it takes. She's not going to give up on this by any means, but I can agree with her. I've been a bit frustrated about how the services have been provided to her to date, and hopefully we can keep that moving forward in a better direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. McClure.
Thank you. I won't take a position on the recommendation today. I do just want to note for the record that I did explore the online electronic records in St. Lucie County regarding these both parties. And there is no termination of rights or suspension of parenting time in the record for Mr. Young. There were two different cases for the girls. They were combined together into one case, and it clearly states that he is the father, but there is nothing in the online record, and they have pretty robust records. There's nothing reflecting a termination of parental rights or a suspension of parenting time in the records that I looked through. So I just wanted to state that for the record. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, the court finds that the lawyer guardian ad litem has complied with the requirements of the statute, that there is probable cause to believe that Patrick Young Sr. is the legal father of both of these children, that return of either one of these juveniles to a parent today would cause a substantial risk of harm to the juvenile or society, that consistent with the circumstances, reasonable efforts to prevent or eliminate the need for removal of the children from the home were made as determined by a prior order. But reasonable efforts shall continue to be made to preserve and reunify the family, make it possible for these children to safely return home. That custody of the children with the parent or guardian presents a substantial risk of harm to their life, physical health, or mental well-being. No provision of service or other arrangement except removal is reasonably available to safeguard them. That the conditions of custody and the placement away from the home and with the individual with whom the children are placed are adequate to safeguard their health and welfare. The court orders that the children be made or are in the temporary custody of this court with placement with the Department of Health and Human Services, that the adjudicated respondents comply with and benefit from the case service plan. Parenting time of Ms. Desire is at the discretion of the agency to allow unsupervised or supervised parenting time. That the agency visit Ms. Desire's home immediately. This should have been done a long time ago, particularly in a rapid reunification case. That an FTM be scheduled as soon as possible and include both the prosecuting attorney's office, somebody from WMPC, as well as KRP. We are new in these rapid reunification cases, and I want everybody at that table to brainstorm and help with the path for this case, because that is just part of the issue with a brand new program like this. I think some of the bumps need to be worked out, and I think that the FTM is a really good place to do that. I'll continue the attorneys in this matter. I find that reasonable efforts have been made to finalize the court-approved permanency plan for both of these children, and we will have a review hearing on June 20th at 11 a.m. I'm not going to issue a dual order at this time, but the court rule does allow at any time for the agency to notify all parties that they intend to return the children home within 7 days, and if there's no objection, there's no court order needed. So I'd rather go with that, and certainly if this hearing needs to be moved up for whatever reason, just let my office know and we'll try to do that. All right, is there anything further?
No, thank you.
Present in the virtual courtroom, we have the mother, Erica Desire. We have our attorney, Cynthia Rathburn. We have father's attorney, Audrey McClure. The children's attorney, Carolyn Gaston. We also have Laura Clifton from the prosecuting attorney's office and various agency workers. Ms. Gaston.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would call Ms. Tatnan. Ms. Tatnan, are you employed with Catholic Charities of West Michigan?
Yes, I am.
And what is your capacity there?
I am a foster care supervisor. However, I was assigned as worker for the past month on this case, and I was supervisor on the case beforehand.
All right. And are you familiar with all of the reports that have been submitted to the court today?
Yes, I wrote the reports.
Okay. So as in terms of the reports, Your Honor, for proposed exhibits, I know we talked about them, but I have as number one, the USP with parent agency treatment agreements dated 6/18/2025. As number two, the KRP initial service plan dated 5/16/25. The KRP USP dated 6/11/2025. And I have forensic fluids drug screens, there's 10 of them, collected between 3/21/25 and 6/4/25. Are you familiar with all of those, Ms. Tatnan?
Yes, I am.
There's also, as a proposed exhibit number 5, a letter dated June 24th, 2025 from Wellspring Lutheran Services detailing support for Ms. Desire's accomplishments. Have you had a chance to review that as well?
I briefly reviewed it when you sent it this morning.
Okay. I think Cynthia sent it, but I would move for the admission of all 5 of those exhibits, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection.
No, Your Honor.
All right, they're admitted.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Tatnan, let's start with the girls, I guess. How are they doing in their placement?
They are doing well in placement. There are no concerns. They are both up to date on their well childs. KD is up to date on her dental. GD was scheduled for a dental last week. However, it got rescheduled or postponed or whatever because they said they didn't have the dentist didn't have a person that could do the appointment. So that appointment is getting rescheduled. They actually are camping right now. They went this weekend to a Christian camp with their foster parents. They were very excited about it last week. So I'm excited to hear about how that went this weekend. They get back this afternoon. But yes, they are doing very well in placement. There are no concerns.
All right, with regard to their, GD and the dentist, that's a cavity that needs to be filled, is that right?
Yeah, it's a pretty bad cavity. What day was that? I think that was the 5th of July, when the girls had an overnight visit with mom. Mom actually had texted me and said that GD had severe pain from the tooth and was wondering like what medications to provide or what she needed to do. The foster parents were actually picking the kids up in about 30 minutes at that time. So the foster parents were able to get her some medication and it was able to calm down. And then we had that appointment scheduled last week. However, it got rescheduled. So we're just kind of monitoring that. It's not too painful right now, but if it does get worse, we would take her in for like urgent care to make sure that that is addressed. But we are working on getting an appointment scheduled to address that. The foster parent said that it might need to be maybe an extraction, but they're not sure based on just how bad the pain is that she's had with it.
Okay. If the rapid reunification plan is entered, will you continue to assist in making sure that this dental appointment is scheduled and taken care of?
Yes.
All right. With regard to their schooling, as I understand it, when the girls came into care, they were behind in assignments and homework. Have they now caught up their assignments and let's see, KD moving from 8th to 9th grade and GD moving from 6th to 7th?
Yeah, over the last reporting period, they were able to make up all the needed assignments and they both passed their grades and are moving on to the next grade. They just had some issues during the last semester with all of the concerns of mental health, and then them being removed. It delayed their progress in school, but they were able to make everything up. So they are on track with their current schooling.
Okay. We talked about GD and her teeth issues, but there's also a need for some corrective surgery for KD, correct?
Yes, she did have an orthodontist appointment on 3/17 that was already scheduled before she came into care. During that appointment, it was discussed that in order for her to get braces, she would need to have a corrective surgery for her tongue tie. And they wanted her to consult with a speech pathologist before they moved forward with braces. So we just need to touch base with the orthodontist on whether or not they actually put the referral in, or if we need to call and get that scheduled with the speech pathologist.
And will you follow up soon to make sure that those appointments are scheduled and we have an accurate picture of what needs to happen there?
Yes.
Okay. With regard to any other concerns, GD, I believe, had a medical review and she's slightly underweight. What's happening with that?
Yeah, so there have been some concerns with her being underweight. She has had some behaviors as well, reporting that she is wearing extra clothes to try to look bigger and things like that. That is being addressed with her therapist, as well as just everyone on the case is aware of being sensitive to that matter with her and her body sensitivities.
There were also some concerns about hygiene with her. Has that been addressed?
Yes, that has been addressed with the foster parents as well as with mom, and everyone is aware on how to just continue to encourage her to stay healthy with her hygiene.
Okay. And with regard to all of the above, mom has been consulted, she is aware, and she is engaging in therapy and services to help her address these needs should the children be returned to her. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned mental health with the children. What is going on with their mental health at this time?
They are both seeing an in-home therapist weekly right now, and that is going well. That will be able to continue if the girls were returned home to mom with the same therapist.
And they've both developed some friends throughout this process. And there was an indication that previously, after school, they really didn't have friends to be with. Is that true?
Yes, that was reported. But they are making friends. They were able to make friends at school and are doing well with that.
Okay, so socially they're doing fine, and they're doing fine medically, and we're working on emotionally. True?
Yes.
Okay. Let's move on. Is there anything else about the children you think the court needs to be advised about?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Let's talk about mother. Miss Desire has a new apartment, correct?
Yes.
And she picked up a part-time job for the summer, although she works for the school system during the school year, correct?
Correct.
The new apartment, there's an indication that she has not yet produced for you the lease or a Section 8 voucher. What's the status of that?
When I met with her on, it was right before the holiday, I reminded her that was needed, and she said she would get it to me. With the holiday and everything, we haven't connected yet to be able to get that, but she is aware that it is needed, and she said she would be willing to provide it.
Okay. And how often do you meet with her?
At least once a month.
Okay. Do you have another meeting scheduled where that can be addressed?
We do not have a meeting scheduled yet this month, but I will schedule one with her as soon as possible, as I need to get her work schedule anyway to schedule further visits with the girls.
All right. Her resources appear to be adequate, correct?
Correct.
Right, and there was an indication that she would need help buying beds for the kids, but apparently she was able to do that on her own. Is that right?
Yes, she does have beds for both of the girls that she
Right.
purchased on her own.
And her apartment is appropriate?
Yes.
Right. The reason we're involved with this family is because of mother's mental health concerns. Where are we with that?
There has been great progress with her emotional stability. She is willing to complete drug screens for us to help monitor her medication. There have been no concerns with her taking her medication as required, and she is also meeting with her therapist as required of her therapist, and things are going well.
So speaking of the drug screens, of the 10 that were admitted, 2 did not test for her mental health or did not show her mental health drugs. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I think those were the 2 that I did, and I didn't realize that we had to write. I had her medications written on the drug screen, but I didn't have it listed that I wanted them to test for the medications that I had written down, so they didn't test for them. So that will not be an issue moving forward.
Okay. And that's sort of the answer I was hoping for, that it just wasn't there. But in any case, there were a couple of indications of some inappropriate conduct and statements made to the children about looking pretty and their clothing being dirty, those kind of things. Can you tell us what happened with that?
Yeah, so following a visit, GD came back to the foster home and was pretty upset and crying, stating that mom had said some things regarding her appearance and the clothes that they were wearing. And there was some concern as well that Miss Desire was making the girls change when they got to the house and then sending them back in different clothes that sometimes didn't fit. All of that has been addressed with Miss Desire, and there have been no concerns since. Also, during that visit, KRP was present, and they reported that the statements that were made didn't necessarily match up with what GD had reported to the foster parents. We're not quite sure what was actually said, but it has been addressed with Miss Desire, and she is aware of that. I think it might just be teenage girl over exaggeration of what parents say and saying things that aren't necessarily meant to be said in the way that it was interpreted by GD. So, but those are continued things that are being addressed with her therapist as well, just working on her self-esteem and her body images.
All right. And with regard to mom's therapy, she is engaged, true?
Yes.
And what services have you provided that she has benefited from?
She's participating in KRP. They have provided a lot of assistance for her and helped her with getting the new apartment and getting all settled in there, and providing just like parent education as well through their services. She had completed MSU online parenting class courses that were submitted at the last hearing. She also completed a parent nurturing parenting class through Arbor Circle. And then she was taking a trauma-informed parenting class through Wedgwood. I do believe we're close to having that finished. It was 6 weeks. So I think we maybe have a week or 2 left of that, and then that will be finished as well. She's completed all of those classes successfully. There are no concerns. And she has been able to continue her therapy that was established from her hospital stay at the beginning of the case.
Early on, it appeared that there was some request by her for the children not to share things that she had requested from them, and potentially not to disclose that the children were in foster care. Has that been addressed?
Yes, that was addressed with her. There was some concern that she didn't want the girls talking to anybody else about their feelings or concerns that they were having, and was hesitant about them being in therapy. However, she did sign consent for them to participate in the therapy that they're participating in, and has stated that therapy, she will have that therapy continue once the girls are returned home.
Right. And with regard to the therapy for KD, I note that she is somewhat parentified. Will that be addressed in her therapy?
Yes.
And Ms. Desire has agreed that if the children are returned to her, she would be willing to continue therapy for them. Is that true?
Yes.
And she also intends to continue with her own mental health needs, correct?
Yes.
Right. When there is parenting time, how does she do?
She does very well. There haven't been any concerns reported with parenting time. She's had 20 total parenting times since the last report period. She had 6 of them were supervised, and then on 5/13 we moved to unsupervised. KRP was present for some of those, but the agency wasn't present, and KRP doesn't technically supervise visits, so they were unsupervised. She's had 12 unsupervised visits and 2 overnight visits. She had their first overnight visit was for the 4th of July. They stayed the 4th to the 5th. And then the following week, they stayed 2 nights in a row from the 7th to the 9th of July. And then the girls went to camp. So we're trying to figure out a plan for this week, along with Miss Desire's work schedule, to be able to have them have another overnight this week.
Right. Any other items that you feel the court should be aware of with regard to Miss Desire at this time?
No, not at this time.
All right. Let's talk about Mr. Young briefly. He has begun and has been sending correspondence to the girls, correct?
I have only received 2, one on May 5th, or no, 5/30, so May 30th, and then a brief email on 6/13.
And he has offered to, I guess, help with some items of clothing or something to that effect. Is that true?
He has offered that, but I have not gotten anything from him.
Okay.
For the girls.
And it's an odd situation based on many years of not being present, but he has indicated he wishes to at least have some form of relationship with them. Is that right?
That is correct.
All right. And the girls have, I guess, at various times said they wish to communicate with him, and at other times said they don't. Where are we right now?
They haven't really mentioned anything about their dad during this reporting period. There hasn't been, they haven't said anything to the foster parents. They didn't really respond to anything about the communication that he did provide. The communication he did provide was very vague and basic, more related to God, not really related to the girls and like how they were doing. So that's a conversation that I'm going to have with him as well about having more, I don't know how to word it, more specific, and like related to the girls instead of just kind of vague statements that he's saying back and forth. But I haven't had a chance to have that conversation with him yet.
Have you offered him any services?
No, because he is a non-respondent in the case.
Okay. And when you say vague, I mean, he asked about school and he offered, I think, shoes if they had a size, correct?
Yeah, he did. Those weren't things that were directed towards the girls. That's what I mean. Like his communication that he has provided to me to relate to the girls has been very like basic and vague. It hasn't been like child specific stuff about them. He's only asked the agency about that information, not like talked to the girls about that information.
All right. I guess I have, with regard to dad, is there anything else that the court should be advised?
No, not at this time.
All right. I noticed in the reports that there was a relative in Florida that you were looking into and planning to do an ICPC. Why is that?
That's our normal policy. Whenever we have children in foster care that are not placed with a relative, we look and try to assess any relatives possible. When they're out of state, we have to do the ICPC process. However, with this being a rapid reunification case, I am recommending today for a dual order. So that ICPC process would not continue as we are looking to return the girls home instead of to Florida.
And mom has indicated that, following return of the girls within a year or so, she may return to Florida. Is that still her plan?
I do not know if that is still her intended plan. I know with the new lease that she just got, like you said, possibly in a year or two, she would do that. She has stated that she has more family support in Florida, so she has considered moving back down there, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, is rapid reunification, have the girls been being provided with prudent parenting thus far?
Yes, they have.
And they have expressed a desire to be returned to their mother. Is that true?
Yes, they have.
And from your perspective, it sounds like you think their mother has progressed and is handling her mental health needs appropriately.
Yes.
And so what are your recommendations for today?
It is respectfully recommended that KD and GD remain temporary court wards of the state and that they be placed in an out-of-home placement with an approved relative or licensed foster home or in the care of their mother, Miss Desire. That Miss Desire engage and benefit from her parent agency treatment plan, that Miss Desire's parenting times be supervised or unsupervised at the agency's discretion, and that a hearing be scheduled as required.
Okay, thank you.
I do have a question. You're recommending what we call or refer to as a dual order. What would be the conditions that would have to be fulfilled before the children would be returned home under that dual order?
The only thing I just want to touch base with Miss Desire on is what her plan is for when she is at work for the girls, figuring out her substitute care. And then we would need to have just a team meeting to discuss a move home date.
Okay, so it'd be conditional on confirmation of childcare arrangements?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Gaston, any follow-up to that question?
Would it also be required that the dental appointments be scheduled and that the tongue situation be scheduled for KD and GD?
I mean, I wouldn't say that was needed for the girls to be able to return home. We would still have the foster care case open and working with mom. I don't think that would be a limitation for the girls returning home, but that would definitely be something we would continue working on with her before we fully close out foster care.
Okay, and what about the in-home therapy for the children?
That would be the same because they would be, they're continuing to do that now, and then it would just get transferred to mom's home or at the office, depending on how Miss Desire and the therapist want to continue services.
Will you be requiring that those services continue before you return home?
Yes, those services would need to continue in the home if the girls were to be returned home.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
All right, thank you. Ms. Clifton, any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Rothburn?
Yes, Ms. Tatton, just following up with your last question about daycare. Now, isn't it accurate the girls have been in the foster home without a daycare plan? Like they've been home alone at the foster home already?
No, they have not. They do go to the foster parents' parents when the foster parents are at work. They are not left home alone.
They're not left home alone. So Miss Desire, one of the girls reported to her that she was home from 9 to 4 without anybody supervising. And so that's not accurate to what information you have.
No, I have not been told that. I was told that I was not told that they were not unsupervised in the home.
Okay. And so following up with the daycare plan with Miss Desire, have you talked to her before about what support she has or people that she can utilize for daycare? Is that a conversation you've even had with her?
I have not. No.
Okay. And again, her school year schedule is gonna be, she's working the same hours the girls are in school, correct?
Correct. It won't be a problem during the school year. It's just for the rest of the summer, figuring out a plan.
Okay. And if her plan is to give up this part-time job and not have to deal with daycare for a few weeks, that'd be something you'd evaluate with her, correct?
Yes, as long as she is able to maintain her appropriate resources to be able to pay for the apartment that she's in and all of her bills. That would not be a problem.
Have you done like an accounting with her to go through her expenses and everything to date?
The last budget we did with her, I mean, we did one during the reporting period and it was appropriate. But if she plans on giving up the part-time job, we would need to do a new one, and just refresh the budget to make sure that everything is up to date, as well as I know her food stamps would increase with the girls being returned home as well.
Okay, all right. Do you know if their father pays any child support?
I believe he does not, as far as I'm aware.
All right. And did you have a timeline if the court grants this dual order? Did you have a timeline in place about when the girls would be returned?
I do not have a set timeline. As I stated, I would just need to discuss with Ms. Desire whatever her plan is for childcare, and then we would have a team meeting following that with the entire team to set a move home date.
Is that something that, say we do get the dual order today, is it something to set up relatively soon, yet this month?
Yes.
Okay. And is there thoughts about transitioning the girls before or after school starts? Is that something that's part of this transition plan?
Yes, we would want them back home with mom before school starts.
Okay, great. And I was checking with parent nurturing. Did you know that if she successfully completed parent nurturing, did you get feedback on that?
I haven't gotten the report back, but as soon as I get it, I will send it to the court.
All right. And have you checked in with KRP recently to see what their thoughts are about transitioning the girls home?
Yes, I talked with KRP and they stated that they believe that the girl should be returned home sooner than later. They do not have any concerns.
And they've been observing her for some time now, working with her on parenting skills and observing her with the girls since she's had visits?
Yes.
All right. Very good. I have nothing further. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. McClure.
Yes, thank you. You stated that Mr. Young had requested or offered to help with items and maybe that he had offered to buy shoes. Did yourself or anyone else from the agency ever tell him, you know, shoe sizes or here's a list of things that would be helpful for you to provide and send to the girls?
I am not sure, as he stated that to the previous worker and I was unable to follow up before she left the agency. I will follow up with him on if that information was provided.
Okay. And will you also follow up with him with the specific recommendation you made today? I mean, it's been a month now and it doesn't sound like you've talked to him, but your recommendation is that if he's going to send messages that they contain some slightly different content. So will you make sure you follow up with him and explain to him what sort of information you would want to see in the messages that he sends to the girls?
Yes, I will.
Okay. And just for clarification, messages that he sends to the girls, he sends them to you and says, can you please send this to the girls? Is that how it works?
Yes, he sends them via email and then we provide them to the girls.
Okay. Do the girls have any independent way of contacting him, like an email or anything like that?
Not that I am aware of, but I can touch base with the girls and the foster parents on what contact I know they have their own phones and things like that. I don't know if they have his phone number.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Rothburn, any follow-up?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Gaston, any follow-up?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Tetnan, if there is a return home, how long will KRP continue to work with the family?
With this being rapid reunification, I'm not really sure. Typically, KRP is in the home 3 months, 3 to 4 months after kids are returned home. But with this being rapid reunification, I'm not sure on their plan of how long they would stay open, as they've already been open for quite some time with this case.
Before return home, will you have that information available for the team meeting?
Yes, KRP will be invited to that team meeting where we will set a return home date.
Because that would be then really the only eyes on the family. Is that correct?
No, when the girls return home, our agency is required to be in the home for the first month every week. And then we have twice a month home visits that we're required to do following that first month.
And for how long?
Until we close.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
Ms. Clifton, any follow-up?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Rathburn, any follow-up?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. McClure?
No, thank you.
All right. Any further witnesses, Ms. Gaston?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Clifton?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Rathburn, any witnesses?
Well, Your Honor, we do have KRP here. I didn't know if one of them was willing just to do some brief testimony in regarding Ms. Gaston's questions. Either Ms. Handler or Mr. Vences-Jurado.
I'm willing. I just need to adjust my camera.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Can you give me like just a moment? I'm sorry.
Sure.
Judge, is it okay if I may speak once KRP is finished?
You need to speak with your, yeah, you have to speak with your attorney.
There we go.
Ms. Rathburn.
Thank you. Mr. Vences-Jurado, where are you currently employed?
I am currently employed at Wellspring Lutheran Services as part of the KRP team.
And you're part of the team that's been assigned to the Desire Children case?
Correct.
All right. And how long have you been working with Miss Desire?
We have been working for approximately 3 months now in the home with her.
And how often, you've heard the testimony that's been presented by Ms. Tontinen. Is there anything that you want to add to the discussion about how you feel about the children returning home to Miss Desire?
Yes, we believe at KRP that we can get a lot more done once the children are returned home. While we have observed a lot of the visitations with the children in the home, we believe that a lot more progress can be done specifically in regards to their routine and with their just bonding as well.
Okay. Have you done a budget with Miss Desire?
I believe we actually I cannot remember right now, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Is it something you would do with her as well to ensure that she has proper financing to have to support the girls?
Yes, that is something that we do with our families as well.
Okay. Have you had any concerns with the visits you've observed with Miss Desire and the girls?
I have not had any concerns with how Miss Desire parent with the girls.
Right. And so you would support an immediate, I mean, what would be your recommendation? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yeah, we definitely believe that the sooner that the girls are reunified with Miss Desire, that the more KRP can assist within the home, and the more services that we can provide as well in case she needs additional support, either with childcare or with getting support for food stamps or clothing or any additional needs such as that.
And about how long would you be placed? How long would your services go once the girls are reunified with Miss Desire?
My director has informed me that KRP can actually stay open up to a year from the initial referral in regards to rapid unification cases. So we'll be open at least for another 8 months if needed.
Or less than that if not.
Less. Yeah,
correct?
less, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
So you could be more flexible, I'm hearing, to provide assistance for the family even after this case is closed out?
No, once foster care closes, then KRP will have to close.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I have no other questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Gaston?
Mr. Vincent Jurado, you were in the home when the incident took place regarding the shoes and the clothing. Is that correct?
Correct.
And what can you tell us about what happened during that event?
Yes. So during that event, GD appeared to be very overwhelmed, especially towards the end of the visitation, because she needed to change her clothing. The reason she needed to change her clothing was because the girls had pick up the dog and he peed on himself. So they got a little bit of the urine on their clothing, so they had to change. And because it was towards the end of the visit, the family and we were very rushed. And so there was a box of shoes that GD had trouble picking out which one she wanted to wear. And so, because again, we were rushed, she just appeared to be very overwhelmed with making a decision and just feeling pressure to just, hurry up. In regards to the comments that Miss Desire made, she did not make any direct comments relating to their appearance. She did mention that it was important for the girls to take care of themselves and to appear presentable and look pretty, but she never made any direct comments about how pretty girls don't cry or that they looked in a negative sense.
All right, and you felt that removing or having them change clothes was an appropriate response to the dog situation?
Yes, correct.
All right. Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you. Ms. McClure, any questions?
No, thank you.
Ms. Clifton, any questions?
None.
Ms. Rathburn, any questions?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Any additional witnesses, Ms. Rathburn?
Well, Your Honor, I'm trying to text my client to see what exactly she'd want to testify to. Could I just have like a minute with her in a breakout room?
All right.
Talk to her. I won't take long. I'm
okay.
cognizant of the time. So
okay.
Just
all right.
to keep it quick.
Ms. Gibson, can you put Ms. Rathburn and Ms. Desire in the breakout room, please? And you can stop the.
My client wishes to make a statement, Your Honor. So I'll just call her quickly.
All right. Ms. Desire, would you raise your right hand? Okay. Ms. Rathburn.
Thank you. Ms. Desire, I have to remind you, we can't say the children's names. That's why they've been using initials to protect their privacy. So just remember that. Ms. Desire, you've heard the testimony that's been placed on the record. Is there anything else that you wanted to add to this?
Yes, I have been contacting the agency multiple times. And also I'm kind of confused as to what's going on, why this case has been continuously prolonged for my children to come back. So I have 1 week, well, one more class left for the tip class. I've done everything that the agency has asked. Also, when there's things that I need to address to the agency, I don't get any response back. I want to ask Mercedes on Thursday, do you have a text from me that came through as to me needing to speak with you? I also sent it to your supervisor.
Ms. Desire, I can't allow you to ask that we are in court, and if your attorney has a question, she can ask her, but I can't allow you to ask questions.
Okay, I have nothing further to say.
Okay. Ms. Clifton, do you have any questions for Ms. Desire?
I don't.
All right. Ms. Gaston, do you have questions for Ms. Desire?
I don't, Your Honor.
Ms. McClure?
No, thank you.
Ms. Rathburn?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Any further witnesses, Ms. Rathburn?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Any witnesses, Ms. McClure?
No, thank you.
All right. Statements. Ms. Clifton?
Your Honor, I believe and agree with the recommendations of the agency.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Gaston?
I too agree with the recommendations from the agency, Your Honor, with the conditions that child care be explored, that in-home therapy continue, and that KRP remain in place at least for a while, so that once the return is accomplished, there's still eyes in the home. I think this has been a rapid reunification case. We just had adjudication back in April. So I know it seems like forever to Ms. Desire, but in terms of how these cases normally go, this is quite a quick turnaround, and it seems that she's doing well, and I think it's appropriate to enter a dual order today. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Rathburn.
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, the court can understand that my client is wanting her children back and felt like right away she started doing everything she needed to do right out the gate and felt that there were some delays. The request from the agency about daycare and about her Section 8, she's indicating she did provide that to the previous worker. And it's hard when she hears today at court that this wasn't done, this wasn't done, this wasn't done. And she feels that she's been open book for the agency and they just are not communicating this with her. She also indicated to me briefly that the children's dental appointments and all the appointments have been remade and rescheduled. And she's very much on top of wanting to get that taken care of. So there's not going to be any gaps in their treatment for their mental health, for their dental, none of that. And she's been more than willing to do whatever she can do, but has been frustrated with this process. So I continue to advocate for her and KRP has actually indicated at meetings that we had that they felt this process also was slow given the progress that my client had made and the concerns that were out there. So we're more than willing to make this happen and get these girls home immediately. I'd be open to scheduling this meeting this week. Next week I'm on vacation. I'll make myself available anytime so that we can get this moving forward, give my client a concrete date, things that she needs to get done, and let's get these girls home before school starts. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. McClure.
I'll take no position regarding the recommendations. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The court finds that the lawyer guardian ad litem has complied with the requirements of the statute, that reasonable efforts have been made to preserve and reunify the family, make it possible for these children to return home, and those reasonable efforts should be continued. In accordance with the statute, progress towards alleviating or mitigating the conditions that cause the children to be remain or placed to remain in temporary foster care has been made by Ms. Desire. That the children's continued placement is necessary and appropriate and is meeting their needs, that the placement is no longer necessary or appropriate once child care arrangements have been confirmed and a family team meeting has been held, that the needs of the children can be met in a foster family home. The court orders that these children continue in the protective and temporary custody of the court, continue their placement with the department for care and supervision, that the children remain home or be released to Ms. Desire under the supervision of the department once child care arrangements have been confirmed and a family team meeting has been conducted. Once that happens, Ms. Desire is to comply with all of the recommendations of the Department of Human Services or its contract agencies. That Ms. Desire continue to comply with and benefit from the case service plan. Sign all necessary releases. That parenting time of Ms. Desire is at the discretion of the department. Continue the attorneys in this matter. That the agency schedule an immediate family team meeting to include the prosecutor, WMPC, as well as KRP representatives. And our next hearing will be August 14th at 10 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. I should interject. Thank you for finding that I met my statutory duties. I failed to indicate that I did see the children on July 11th, and they were very happy, bubbly children, quite different from the first couple times I met with them, but very excited about the camp. So I too will be interested to hear how that went. Thank you.
I assumed from that statement regarding camp that you had spoken with them recently. So, all right. Thank you. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
Ms. Rathburn, could you hold on just